Good morning, children. Today I am going to start with Unit 24, Environmental Science. So, you people know about what is mean by environmental, and in this chapter we are going to discuss about different aspects of environmental science, biogeochemical cycle, impacts of human activities on biogeochemical cycle, adaptation of plants with their respected habitat, adaptation of bat and earthworm, recycling of water, its method, and water conservation and water recycling methods. These are the various topics we are going to discuss under this lesson. Introduction. Elements of nature continuously undergo change in transformation. Environmental protection provide a holistic knowledge about natural processes, effects of human intervention, and solutions to overcome environmental problems. Environmental issues, what are the various environmental issues such as pollution, global warming, ozone layer depletion, and the various, sorry children, some interruption. The various environmental issues we are seeing in our day-to-day life. So, pollution, global warming, ozone layer depletion, acid rain, deforestation, landslide, drought, and desertification have gained major focus across the world. Natural resources are recycled over and over again on earth for continued availability. At the same time, it also reminds us of our responsibility to reduce and restrain our activities that will affect the natural processes. Okay. Living organisms adjust themselves according to their habitat and changes in the ecosystem. Okay, living organisms adjust themselves according to their habitat and changes in the ecosystem. All living organisms develop certain morphological, anatomical, physiological, and reproductive adaptation which help them to survive better and to withstand environmental conditions. Okay, so living organisms adjust themselves according to their habitat and also changes in the ecosystem, right? All living organisms develop certain morphological, anatomical, physiological, and reproductive adaptation. Because of this adaptation, they can adjust themselves according to their environmental conditions. Okay. This lesson deals with biogeochemical cycle, adaptations by the plants and animals, water conservation, and recycling of water. These are the various topics we are going to see under this topic: biogeochemical cycles, adaptations by the plants and animals, water conservation, and recycling of water. Biogeochemical cycles. Bio means life, geo means earth. Okay, what is mean by biogeochemical? A cyclic events between the living organism and the earth is called what? Biogeochemical. What is the cyclic events? See, the minerals or water which are cycled in between the living organism and earth is called what? Biogeochemical cycle. Okay, say for example carbon. Carbon is released by the living organism in the form of carbon dioxide and it reaches the atmosphere, and again this carbon are utilized by the plants for photosynthesis, and again like this it is cycled, and by various methods it reaches the soil. After death of the plant and animals, the carbon component in the plant and animal bodies again it's go to where? It's go to earth. So like this the minerals and water cycled between the living organism and also earth is called a biogeochemical cycle. And biosphere is the part of the earth where life exists. All resources of biosphere can be grouped into two major categories, namely biotic or living factors which include plants, animals, and all other living organisms. Then biotic or living factors, you know very well what are the biotic factors. Plants, animals, and all other microorganisms we can bring under the biotic factors. Abiotic or non-living factors which include all factors like temperature, pressure, water, soil, air, sunlight, which affect the ability of organism to survive and reproduce. There is a constant interaction between the biotic and abiotic components in the biosphere, and that make the biosphere a dynamic and stable system. So there is a constant interaction between the biotic and abiotic component in the biosphere. Yes, of course, there is a constant interaction between the biotic and abiotic component, which make a dynamic and stable system. Cyclic flow of nutrients between non-living and living factors of the environment are termed as biogeochemicals, please bracket it. What is mean by biogeochemical cycle? A cyclic flow of nutrients between non-living and living factors of living environment are termed as biogeochemical cycle. Some of the important biogeochemical cycles are water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle. Water cycle. Water cycle, otherwise called as hydrological cycle. It's a continuous movement of water on earth. That is called what? Water cycle. Water cycle, otherwise called as hydrological cycle. In this, a continuous movement of water on earth will be taken place. In this process, water moves from one reservoir to another by a process such as evaporation, sublimation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation, surface runoff, and infiltration, during which water converts itself to various forms like liquid, solid, and vapor. Okay. So, this water cycle or hydrological cycle is a continuous process. It is a continuous process by which it can water move from one reservoir to another reservoir by a various process such as evaporation, sublimation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation, surface runoff, and infiltration, during which water converts itself to various forms like liquid, solid, and vapor. During this process, water has converted into various forms like liquid, solid, and vapor. Evaporation is a type of vaporization where liquid is converted to gas before reaching its boiling point. Okay. What does mean by evaporation? Evaporation is a type of vaporization where a liquid is converted into gaseous form before reaching its boiling point. Directly it is converted into gaseous state. Then water evaporates from the surface of the earth and water bodies such as the ocean, seas, lakes, ponds, and rivers. Okay, water evaporates from the surface of the earth, and water bodies such as ocean, seas, lakes, ponds, and rivers. Sublimation is a conversion of solid to gas without passing through the intermediate liquid phase. Ice sheets and ice caps from north and south poles and ice caps of mountains get converted into water vapor directly without converting into liquid. That is called sublimation. What is mean by sublimation? Sublimation is nothing but conversion of solid into gas. That is called what? Gaseous, solid form of water into gaseous form of water without passing any intermediate liquid phase. Okay, usually solid water melt into liquid water, and when it's getting boiling point, it is transferred into gaseous stage, isn't it? But in sublimation, the solid form of water is directly converted into gaseous form without any intermediate liquid stage. Example for these are ice sheets, ice caps from north and south poles, and ice caps on mountains get converted into water vapor directly without converting into liquid. Next one is transpiration, is the process by which plants release water vapor into the atmosphere through stomata in leaves and stems. Okay, this you are familiar with. This transpiration is familiar for you. Is a process by which plants release water vapor into the atmosphere through stomata in the leaves and stem. Okay. Next, condensation is the changing of gas phase into liquid phase and is the reverse of vaporization. So, what is mean by condensation? Condensation is the changing of gas phase into liquid phase. Sorry children. Condensation Sorry children, wait. Condensation is the changing of gas phase into liquid phase. Liquid to gas is what? Vaporization. Here it is reverse of vaporization, that is gas phase into liquid phase, called condensation. That is reverse form of vaporization. At higher altitudes the temperature is low. Then the water vapor present, they are condensed to form very tiny particles of water droplets. These particles come close together to form clouds and fog. Okay. At higher altitudes the temperature is very low, that we know very well. The water vapor present there condensed to form very tiny particles of water droplets. These particles come close together to form a clouds and fog. Next, precipitation. Due to change in wind or temperature, clouds combine to make bigger droplets and pour down as precipitation, that is rain. Precipitation includes drizzle, rain, snow and hail. These are the various form of precipitation. Okay. So, what is mean by precipitation? Due to change in wind or temperature, clouds combine to make a bigger droplets and pour down as a precipitation, that is rain. Precipitation includes drizzle, rain, snow and hail. Runoff, as the water pours down, it runs over the surface of earth. Runoff water combines to form a channels, rivers, lakes and ends up into seas and oceans. Okay, runoff. As the water pours down, it runs over the surface of earth. Runoff water combine to form a channels, rivers, lakes, that you know very well, and ends up in seas and oceans. Infiltration, some of the precipitated water moves deep into the soil. Then it moves down and increase the groundwater level. This is called infiltration. So, after rain, the precipitated, what happened today? Sorry children. My God. Sorry children, sorry. Some of the precipitated water moves deep into the soil, then it moves down and increase the groundwater level. Okay. So, after rain, some of the precipitated water which moves deep into the soil, that is which percolate and moves slowly into the soil. Since it moves down, it increase the groundwater level. Next, percolation, some of the precipitate water flows through the soil and porous or fractured rock. Infiltration and percolation are the two related but different process describing the movement of water through the soil. There are the two process which by which the water, precipitated water moves into the soil and increase the groundwater level. They are infiltration and percolation. And human impacts on water cycle. So, this what about water cycle? When you observe the diagram, you can see this all the process: condensation, evaporation, precipitation, sublimation, transpiration, deposition, condensation, precipitation, like that. Snow melt, water, runoff water, surface flow. These all includes under the hydrological cycle. So, this hydrological cycle also affected by human, that is human impacts on water cycle. Major human activities affecting the water cycle on land or urbanization, dumping of plastic waste on land and into water, polluting water bodies and deforestation. Next one is nitrogen cycle. So far we have discussed about water cycle. Now we are going to discuss with nitrogen cycle. Is the important nutrient needed for the survival of all living organisms. It is an essential component of proteins, DNA and chlorophyll. Atmosphere is a rich source of nitrogen and contains about 78% of nitrogen. So, nitrogen is the important nutrient needed for the survival of all living organisms. It is essential for the component of proteins, DNA and chlorophyll. You know, the protein is very essential for the growth and functions of a living organism. and DNA is genetic material of all living organism. Chlorophyll, which is essential for photosynthesis done by plants. So, for this all nitrogen is the important component. Atmosphere is a rich source of nitrogen and contains about 78% of nitrogen. In the atmosphere, 78% of nitrogen is present. Now, plants and animals cannot utilize atmospheric nitrogen directly. They can use it only if it is in the form of ammonia, amino acid or nitrates. Okay. Then though in atmosphere there will be availability of 78% of nitrogen, plant and animals cannot utilize this nitrogen directly. Instead, they can use the nitrogen in the form of ammonia, amino acid and nitrates. Okay. Process involved in nitrogen cycles are explained below. Nitrogen fixation. The first step in nitrogen cycle is nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen, which is in inert form, to reactive compounds available to living organism. This conversion is done by a number of bacteria. Blue-green algae, leguminous plants like pea and beans have a symbiotic relationship with nitrogen fixing bacteria Rhizobium. Rhizobium occur in the root nodules of leguminous plant and fixes nitrogenous compounds. Okay. Nitrogen fixation is the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen. That is called what? Nitrogen fixation. And after conversion, they should be available to the living organism. It should be converted into in its inert form. This conversion can be done by number of bacteria and blue-green algae such as cyanobacteria. Some of the leguminous plants like peas and beans, they are having a relationship with the symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria called Rhizobium. This Rhizobium lives in the leguminous plants roots, have a nitrogen fixing gene, and it fixes the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil and convert into in the form of ammonia, nitrate and nitrate, okay, and make available to the plants. This is called what? Functions of nitrogen fixing bacteria. Next one is nitrogen assimilation. Plants absorb nitrate ions and use them for making organic matter like proteins and nucleic acids. Herbivorous animals convert plant proteins into animal proteins. Carnivorous animals synthesize proteins from their food. Okay. Plants absorb nitrate ions and use them for making organic matter like proteins and nucleic acid. So, why nitrogen is essential for the plants? For making of protein and nucleic acid, nitrogen is essential. So, plants absorb nitrate ions and use them for making organic matter like proteins and nucleic acid. Herbivorous animals convert plant proteins into animal protein. Actually, herbivorous animal, they are consuming only plant material, so they cannot get animal protein. So, in that case, these herbivorous animals convert the plant proteins into animal proteins. Carnivorous animals synthesize proteins from their food. So, carnivorous animals, since they are consuming the flesh as their food, they are getting animal proteins from that. Okay. Next, ammonification, the process of decomposition of nitrogenous waste by a putrescifying bacteria and fungi into ammonium compound is called ammonification. Animal proteins are excreted in the form of urea, uric acid and ammonia. The putrescifying bacteria and fungi decompose these animal proteins, dead animals and plants into ammonium compounds. Okay. Nitrification, the ammonium compounds formed by ammonification process are oxidized to soluble nitrates. This process of nitrate formation is known as nitrification. So, ammonium compounds is formed by a process called ammonification. This ammonium formed by ammonification should be converted into nitrate and the process is called nitrification. The bacteria responsible for nitrification are called nitrifying bacteria. Here is a table given In that various types of bacteria which are involved in nitrogen fixation, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification, right. For the bacteria or microorganism involved in nitrogen fixation are Acetobacter in the soil, Rhizobium in root nodules, blue-green algae, that is nostoc. Ammonification, beautifying bacteria and fungi involved in ammonification. Nitrification, Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacteria are called nitrifying bacteria which are involved in the nitrification process. Denitrification, denitrifying bacteria such as Pseudomonas are involved in denitrification process. What is denitrification? Free living soil bacteria such as Pseudomonas species reduce nitrate ions of the soil into gaseous nitrogen which enters the atmosphere is called denitrification. Okay, free living soil bacteria such as Pseudomonas which reduce the nitrate ions of soil into gaseous nitrogen which enters the atmosphere. Carbon cycle you can observe with this diagram, children. We want to start the carbon cycle. The last topic of this nitrogen cycle is human impacts on nitrogen cycle. That means how human disturbs in the nitrogen cycle. Burning fossil fuels, application of nitrogen based fertilizers and other activities can increase the amount of biologically available nitrogen in an ecosystem. Nitrogen applied to agricultural fields enters rivers and marine system. It alters the biodiversity, changes the food web structure and destroy the general habitat also. Okay. So, with this we will stop today's portion, children, and in our next class we will start with the carbon cycle. And homework, this table, name the microorganism which all played in the various process of nitrogen cycle. One question. Explain water cycle. Explain water cycle fully. Okay. These are the two questions you will get as a homework, and I will get you in my next class, children. Bye.